Hello and thank you for tuning in to today's video. In today's video I'm going to continue unpacking the performance formula about which I was talking in my previous videos. If you haven't watched these videos, I invite you to do so by following the links that are provided in the post below, or if you are watching this video on YouTube, you can find the links in the description to this video also below. But just to remind, the performance formula that measures individual performance of each employee in the organization consists of three components, and these are ability, motivation, and environment. In last week's video, I started unpacking the ability component of performance formula. I was talking about skills, hard skills, technical, professional skills, and also soft skills, which include, among others, goal setting, problem solving, decision making, time management, task management, stress management, creativity, flexibility, communication, and other interpersonal skills. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about personality traits as a subcomponent of ability component of performance formula. There are different approaches, models, and theories that look at personality traits, and I am going to use Big Five model. Big Five model is used to see and analyze the individual differences of people, how we as people differ from others, and in what way. Also, Big Five model is used by companies to see how people fit certain jobs by their personality traits and how well they deal with stress and stressful situations. So the Big Five model consists of 5 elements, logically. Big Five model, 5 elements. And these elements are extroversion, agreeableness, conscientiousness, emotional stability or neuroticism, and openness, imagination, and creativity. So let's look at each of these elements separately and in detail and see how these personality traits may be beneficial or vice versa, may not serve certain jobs and certain job positions. So the first element is extroversion. Extroversion reflects on how we interact socially, how we express our emotions, and how we deal with the people in the environment we are in. And there are 2 extremes on the extroversion scale. The high score means that the person is highly extroverted, and the low score on extroversion scale means that the person is highly introverted. So extroverted people are the people who are very talkative, who enjoy being around the people, who are quite okay with starting conversations, with using icebreakers, with coming up to new and unknown people. Those people like debating, discussing opinions, sometimes arguing. They like to be among the people and they enjoy being among the people. The lower score on extroversion scale, meaning that the person is introverted, means that those people are more silent, they don't like big groups of people, they are not very comfortable in starting conversations, and sometimes they prefer staying alone, or after being in a group of people for some time, they need time to be on their own. And these people very often are shy or a bit unconfident, let's say. And what does it mean for jobs? For example, let's take an extremely extroverted person, so the person who enjoys in being among the people. And imagine that this person has a job in the demand planning department. So the job of this person is to plan sales and supply and demand. And this person basically deals with numbers all the time. Yeah, there are interactions with people, but basically the job is mostly around the numbers and forecasts. And can you imagine how this person may feel after every working day? So this person will not be satisfied with the job because this person needs people to interact with. Of course, there are after work time, and this person will find how to balance this. But speaking about the job environment, this is not the best job that suits the personality of this person. Or let's take introverted person, highly introverted person that is uncomfortable in speaking with other people. And this person is a sales representative or sales promoter. For sure, this person will be super uncomfortable when speaking to other people, to potential customers, to customers, especially in starting the conversations, in using the icebreakers and then continuing this conversation. For such a person, this job would be really very difficult and very stressful. And also in first case and also in second case, if not managed properly and if nothing changes, this person may aggregate dissatisfaction with job, and it may lead to burnout at some point because the personality is not realized at job. The second component or the second element is agreeableness. Agreeableness means how we treat relationships with other people, how much we are eager to help, how kind we are to other people. And when looking at the scale of agreeableness, the high score on the scale means that these people are very kind, they are very helpful, they are very compassionate, they are trustworthy, they are very empathetic, and sometimes they are even altruistic. If looking at the scale, on the lower level of the scale, so these people are not eager to help others. They may be quite selfish, they are stubborn, they are very competitive, manipulative, and they are not trustworthy. And now imagine the situation when the person with a high score and in agreeableness, the person who is eager to help, who is kind to people, who is altruistic, and this person has a job that includes negotiations, tough negotiations. And for sure this job will be very difficult for this person because of his or her personality, altruistic personality, helpful personality. It is very difficult to be tough in negotiations. And another example, when we look at the lower score on the agreeableness scale, and the person who is less helpful, who is more stubborn, who is less kind to people, imagine that this person, for example, has a job as a receptionist in the hotel. And you can imagine the communication between this job, who has low score on agreeableness scale, with the guests. And you can imagine if the guests will be satisfied, if the guests of the hotel will be happy. And of course, this will impact the overall state and reputation of the hotel and performance of the company in general. The next element of Big Five model is conscientiousness. Conscientiousness is a reflection of how thoughtful we are and how goal-oriented we are. It also shows how well we control our impulses, how well we are organized internally, and the level of our work ethics. If looking at the conscientiousness scale, high scores show people who are goal-oriented, who are very good at planning, who are attentive to details, who are hardworking, who respect schedules and deadlines, and who remain emotionally stable in stressful situations and environments, and who are in generally more optimistic. If looking at the lower score in the conscientiousness scale, it shows us people who are more messy, less structured, not so much goal-oriented and attentive to details. These people are prone to lateness, so they may be late, and these people are prone to procrastination. And now imagine the situation that the person who has low score on conscientiousness scale has a job of a project manager. So the person is quite unstructured, quite unorganized, may be late, doesn't respect the deadlines, and this person manages projects. For sure, performance of this person will be very poor, low, and the projects will not be managed in a proper way. It doesn't mean that this person is bad. It only means that the person doesn't fit the job he or she has. And on the contrary, if to look at the person who has high score on conscientiousness scale, actually I think that such people are good in any jobs, at any job, because it is very, very nice to be optimistic and to be emotionally stable. But anyway, such people may be less successful in some creative jobs. It doesn't mean that they will be less successful, but it might mean that they may be less successful. But again, it's not a rule. Always it is necessary to look at each and every situation, at each and every person, and analyze the personality traits by all the scores and see how well she or he suits his or her job. Emotional stability or neuroticism is the next fourth element of the Big Five model. It refers to our emotional stability, and neuroticism refers to uncertain thoughts and also to swings in the mood, moodiness, bad mood, good mood, changes in this, and irritability. High score on this scale means that the person may be very moody, so the person may switch from one mood to another. The person may become irritated very quickly. The person is emotionally unstable, and this person may be very reactive in stressful situations. This person worries a lot about different things in her or his control and things that are out of his or her control. And the low score on this scale means that the person is emotionally stable, person is optimistic, person can control his or her emotions, and in generally a person is more relaxed. And also when looking at high score at this scale and at low score at this scale, it is very important to see how the person with either high score or low score fits the job position that he or she has. Same as with conscientiousness, I think that extreme high score of neuroticism is not good for any job position. And from my point of view, if person has high score in neuroticism, it means that this issue should be looked at with the help of specialists and worked on this for the person to lower her or his score just to have better quality of life, because higher score, extremely high score of neuroticism means that the person is quite unstable, that impacts and undermines general life quality. And the last element of Big Five model is openness, imagination is creativity. This element shows the level of openness to new experiences, of creativity, imagination, and width of intellect. It shows how we are curious about the world and if we are open to learn new things or not. So the high score on the scale of openness means that person is eager to learn new things. The person is curious about learning about new things. The person is creative, and the person has a very rich imagination. The person likes to travel, try new things, and think out of the box. Low score on this scale means that the person is quite resistant to changes. If the person with high score is open to changes, so the person with lower score on this scale is quite resistant to changes. These people have more traditional thinking, they are more grounded, they may be less creative, they maybe have lower imagination, and they are more conservative in some way. So also when looking at high score and at low score, and people who have these scores and different jobs positions, for some jobs it is extremely important to have higher score of openness, to be eager to learn, to develop, to have growth mindset. And by the way, I will speak about growth mindsets in some future videos. But for some jobs it is better to have lower score of openness. For example, these are jobs that require following to strict rules and procedures, for example at production, where creativity and imagination are not the best qualities to have, because they may lead to some consequences that are not desirable. So again, it is very important to look at each and every person, to analyze his or her personality traits using this Big Five model. So you can take this Big Five model and analyze and put the scores for every team member, how high or how low this person is on each of these elements. And then you can reflect and analyze how this person fits the job he or she has, and if not, so then the actions should be taken. If looking at ability component in general, it shows, as I told and mentioned today several times already, how the person fits the job he or she has. And if looking at this ability component from perspective of two subcomponents, skills and personality traits, if speaking about the skills, if person is missing some skills, is not skilled enough to do his or her job, so the person can be trained. He or she can learn new skills and become more knowledgeable in the sphere, in the job that he or she has. But if speaking at personality traits, it's a bit different, because it is much easier to learn new skills than to change the personality traits, because mostly the personality traits are born, so we are born with those personality traits, and they are developed in the process of our life due to experiences we have had in our life, bringing up, school, university, friends, colleagues, different life events. So it all formed those personality traits that we have. And so changing the personality traits is a long process. And basically, radical change of personality trait means quite a transformation. And it really happens very rare, and the person can only, let's say, make the score a bit higher or a bit lower. It cannot go from one extreme to another extreme. So extremely introverted person will never become extremely extroverted person, but the person can increase the score by working a lot. but the easiest way is to teach the person new skills if the person doesn't have these skills. And if it is about the personality, maybe to see if there is a job position within the organization that suits this person in the best way. And speaking about the skills, especially the soft skills that I mentioned, goal setting, decision making, and problem solving, communication, leadership, managerial skills, interpersonal skills, time, task and stress management, conflict management. If you see that you are missing some of competencies or some skills, or you see that team members are missing these skills, they are not competent enough in these soft skills, I have a training that is dedicated to soft skills training, and if you are interested, so you may check my website, and in the section services you may see details about these trainings. And if you will be interested, I will be glad if you contact me regarding this. Hope this video was useful, and if you would like to receive newsletters from me, to receive new videos on time, you can subscribe to the newsletters on my website. If you are watching this video in the blog, so the subscription form is below, and if you are watching this video on YouTube, you can go by link to my website and you can find the subscription section on the bottom of each page, and you can subscribe. In case of any questions, I will be glad to answer them, so feel free to contact me. Thank you and see you in the next video.